Since starting my channel about a year and a half ago, I've been asked for Tolkien gift ideas a ton of times. So I thought I'd throw together a list of great gift ideas for the Tolkien fan in your life. First up, books. What better place to start a Tolkien gift list than the place where this world originates? Over the past couple years, there's been some terrific new releases of Tolkien's work. We've gotten new illustrated editions of Unfinished Tales, The Silmarillion, and a new box set of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Featuring work by the holy trinity of Tolkien illustrators, John Howe, Alan Lee, and Ted Naismith. These books are perfect for anyone needing a nice hardcover edition of these books. But it's not only the big three that got illustrated versions this year. The most recently released illustrated edition comes from the One himself, J.R.R. Tolkien. In a new single-book edition of The Lord of the Rings, we are treated to illustrations made by the famed author himself. Another in a line of fantastic hardcovers for fans of Middle-earth. Now for the more serious collectors, there are deluxe versions of Unfinished Tales, The Silmarillion, and the Tolkien illustrated Lord of the Rings that come in a fancy slipcase and a larger size than their regular edition counterparts. If you're looking for something with new written material, that's right, nearly 50 years after his death, we are still being treated to newly released Tolkien writings. This year we got the new Nature of Middle-earth book, edited by Carl Hostetter. When we spoke to him here on the channel, Carl gave us a bit of insight into this book and the treasure trove of new tidbits within. Now if you're wanting something for the young Tolkien fan, I always love recommending the Hobbit Illustrated Edition by Jemima Catlin. It's a wonderfully whimsical style that calls to mind the classic illustrations of children's books like Winnie the Pooh, and it's my preferred edition when I read to my kids. The past calendar year has also given us 2 releases of the Middle-earth film series in their highest resolution ever. Last year, the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies, both extended and theatrical, were released in 4K UHD sets. And just recently, a new Ultimate Edition features the same 4K discs, plus remasters of the standard Blu-rays, and a few extras. Now, I've already reviewed each of these in depth, but if you've got a 4K capable TV or projector, I'd highly recommend experiencing Middle-earth in this way. Of course, if you're looking for something out of the ordinary, there's some pretty fun adaptations of Tolkien stories to find here on YouTube that are free to watch. Most of which we've done reaction streams for here on the channel. Check them out with your family for a fun time watching unique takes on Tolkien's world. Another fantastic way to experience Middle-earth is through audio. Those who've been around the channel for a while will know that I'm a huge audiobook fan, and we just happened to get brand new audiobooks this year for the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. The books are performed by the one and only Andy Serkis, who brings his voice talents and fantastic voice acting abilities to this release. Combined with his reading of The Hobbit, these are now my go-to definitive versions of these audiobooks. Of course, there's always the incredible performance of The Children of Húrin, read by Christopher Lee, that I will always recommend to anyone who hasn't heard it. Tolkien's world brings out the creativity in so many, and that brings me to possibly my favorite recommendation on this list. You can support some of the many incredible artists that do work based on Middle-earth by purchasing their prints online. In the description of any video you find here on the channel, I've listed the artists and the artwork used in that video. So look them up and support them by purchasing some of their wonderful work, while scoring yourself a great piece of art to represent your favorite moments or characters from Tolkien's world. Now, full disclosure, this next item does come from someone who has run sponsorships here on the channel. That being said, I truly believe I would have included Lord of Maps on this list anyway, as I've been following them for a long time on Instagram and have enjoyed their maps ever since. And it's cool to see real-world states and countries represented in a fantastical way. When it comes to collectibles, I'm a huge fan of the WETA mini epics. Of course, WETA has long made a vast range of collectible figures and statues, and many come with a pretty hefty price tag to go with their incredible detail and size. The mini epics have a style all their own and are much more budget-friendly. And they make me dream of the day when someone at Warner Brothers decides to make an animated or perhaps stop-motion series based on The Lord of the Rings. Now for the more silly Tolkien fans, or perhaps the younger ones, there's the Lord of the Rings ducks made by TUBBZ. While I initially laughed these off when they were first announced, After receiving one of the Gollum ones, I can actually say I'm a bit of a fan. There's definitely a couple standouts in the group, and they're bigger and more detailed than I had expected. Seriously, this Gollum one, it cracks me up and I absolutely love it. Of course, if you want something for the kid in your life, big or small, there's always the new lovable Lord of the Rings Build-A-Bears. They come as either Gandalf or Frodo, and while they are pretty pricey for a plush, the real steal is Gollum. Gollum has never looked this cute, and the price tag is much easier on the wallet. Now, should you have an aspiring artist on your list, or just someone interested in the creative process of illustration, the previously mentioned master of Middle-earth, John Howe, recently released a book called John Howe's Ultimate Fantasy Art Academy: Inspiration, Approaches, and Techniques for Drawing and Painting in the Fantasy Realm. This next one I enjoy not only for the product itself, but also that I could potentially gift it to my non-Tolkien fan mom, and she may not immediately realize there's a connection. Mythologie Candles has an incredible fantasy theme to all their products, and many names which you may find familiar from your days in Middle-earth. I personally enjoy lighting one of these candles for my Lord of the Rings online gaming sessions, to put me in my dwarven frame of mind. Finally, what better gift to go into the new year than the annual Tolkien calendar? A staple since 1969, the Tolkien calendar is a great way to track your days of adventure in the year ahead, and even more importantly, features some of the greatest Tolkien art year after year. If you've snagged one of the previously mentioned books, you're bound to find some familiar artwork. Of course, there's a multitude of great Tolkien products to be found, so let me know some of your favorites in the comments. If there's something I didn't mention in this quick video that you love, I want to hear about it, and I'm sure others here on the channel would love the recommendations. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing to Nerd of the Rings. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.